In the heart of Indonesia, where ancient beliefs intertwine with modern life, a chilling darkness once took root. This is a story born from the shadows of superstition, a tale of ritual, cruelty, and unimaginable horror. It speaks to the terrifying power of delusion when left unchecked. It is a narrative that plunges into the depths of human depravity, revealing how deeply ingrained cultural practices can be twisted into a justification for murder. This is not merely a crime story. It is a stark examination of a mind warped by its own twisted interpretation of power. Our subject is Ahmad Siraji, a name that would become synonymous with terror across North Sumatra. He was known to many as the Black Magic Killer, a title earned through unspeakable acts. His reign of terror left an indelible scar on the nation's psyche. The events unfolded in a region steeped in tradition and mysticism, a landscape of lush sugarcane fields and quiet villages. This geographical context is crucial, as it provided the fertile ground for Siraji's dark ambitions to flourish, hidden in plain sight. Ahmad Siraji presented himself as a respected figure, a self-proclaimed shaman, or dukun. He was a spiritual healer, a man believed to possess esoteric knowledge and the ability to commune with unseen forces. This identity granted him immense influence within his community. At the core of his being lay a deeply disturbing belief system centered on black magic. Siraji was convinced that he could harness supernatural powers, bending them to his will for personal gain and ultimate control. This conviction was absolute and unwavering. His delusion was not an isolated phenomenon, but deeply rooted in local superstitions and cultural practices. In a society where belief in magic and spiritual intervention was common, Siraji found fertile ground for his twisted interpretations. He exploited existing fears and hopes. These deeply held yet perverted beliefs became the catalyst for a series of horrific murders. What began as a quest for power soon devolved into a systematic campaign of terror, driven by a dark prophecy he claimed to have received. His spiritual journey became a descent into madness. Siraji harbored a grand delusion. He believed that sacrificing women would amplify his magical abilities. He was convinced that the essence of these lives, particularly their saliva, held the key to unlocking unprecedented power. This was the horrifying logic behind his crimes. The ultimate goal of these gruesome rituals was nothing less than invincibility and immortality. Siraji sought to transcend mortal limitations, believing that each life he took brought him closer to becoming an all-powerful, unassailable entity. He craved absolute dominion. Siraji's victims shared a common profile. They were primarily young women, often vulnerable and seeking help. They came to him with hopes of solving personal problems, finding love, or achieving prosperity, unaware of the sinister fate that awaited them. He employed a cunning and deceptive luring tactic, drawing these women in under the guise of receiving magical blessings. He promised solutions to their woes, offering spiritual guidance and powerful charms, thereby gaining their trust and leading them to their doom. The stage for his atrocities was his own sugarcane plantation, a seemingly innocuous setting that concealed a horrifying secret. This vast, dense landscape provided both privacy for his rituals and a convenient burial ground for his victims. It was a place of false serenity. Within the plantation, he designated a secluded area as his execution site. This hidden spot, away from prying eyes, became the unholy altar for his dark rituals. Here, the women's hopes were extinguished, and their lives brutally taken. The method of murder was chillingly consistent: strangulation. This intimate and brutal act allowed Siraji to maintain control, ensuring the ritualistic nature of each killing. It was a deliberate, personal act of extinguishing life. Following each murder, the bodies were disposed of in shallow graves scattered across his plantation. These hasty burials were meant to conceal his crimes, but they also served a darker ritualistic purpose, integral to his twisted beliefs. A specific macabre ritual detail accompanied each burial. The victims' faces were buried towards his house. Siraji believed this act would channel their spiritual energy directly to him, further enhancing his power and ensuring his continued dominance. He perceived this gruesome outcome as a direct enhancement of his magical abilities. Each murder, each burial, was a step closer to achieving the invincibility and immortality he so desperately craved. He saw himself growing stronger with every life he took. Initially, Ahmad Siraji enjoyed a respected position within his community. He was seen as a wise and powerful shaman, a source of guidance and healing. This initial perception allowed him to operate without suspicion for an extended period. Villagers placed immense trust in him, seeking his counsel for various ailments and life challenges. His reputation as a spiritual healer was widespread, making him an approachable and seemingly benevolent figure. This trust was tragically misplaced. However, early warning signs began to emerge as women from the surrounding areas started disappearing. These isolated incidents, initially dismissed or attributed to other causes, slowly began to paint a disturbing pattern. A quiet unease settled over the region. Despite the growing number of missing persons, the community remained largely ignorant of the horrifying truth. Villagers knew something was wrong, a palpable sense of dread lingered, but the true extent of Siraji's depravity remained concealed beneath a veil of superstition and fear. The turning point arrived with the discovery of the first body. A farmer stumbled upon a shallow grave, unearthing the remains of a young woman. This grim find finally triggered a formal investigation, shattering the fragile peace of the community. Police action began meticulously, with investigators painstakingly piecing together clues from the gruesome discovery. The initial investigation was slow but persistent, as authorities grappled with the unusual circumstances surrounding the death. As the investigation deepened, the horrifying truth and the staggering scale of Siraji's crimes began to emerge. What started as a single murder inquiry quickly spiraled into a mass murder investigation, revealing a pattern of systematic killings. The sheer number of victims was almost incomprehensible. The timeline of these murders stretched back over an 11-year period, a chilling testament to Siraji's undetected reign of terror. For more than a decade, he had operated with impunity, preying on the vulnerable under the guise of spiritual healing. The final count was a horrifying total: 42 women murdered. Each victim represented a life brutally cut short, a family shattered, and a community left in shock. The sheer volume of his crimes solidified his place as one of history's most prolific serial killers. The factors leading to Siraji's capture were a combination of meticulous police work and the brave individuals who eventually spoke out. The discovery of the bodies, coupled with witness testimonies and forensic evidence, slowly closed the net around him. Justice began its slow, inexorable march. His trial and subsequent verdict brought a measure of closure to the grieving families and a shocked nation. Ahmad Siraji was found guilty of all charges in 2008, his claims of spiritual power unable to withstand the weight of overwhelming evidence. The court delivered its judgment. He was sentenced to death, bringing an end to his reign of terror. His execution served as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked superstition and delusion, a chilling case study in how a warped mind can justify unspeakable acts. The Black Magic Killer's dark chapter was finally closed. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to support our channel. Your support helps us create more dark stories, true crime mysteries, and deep dives into the minds of history's most twisted figures.